Amy Griffin leads the women's basketball team to a buzzer-beating jumper against George Mason for the 4th out of their 5th straight wins. Hello, I'm Anna Gomez.
And I'm Jake Smolinski. No surprise the tennis team got whooped by Navy. However, senior Mark Robinson notched a win against the Salers. God bless you, child. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explore Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to Sportsline. We've got the footage from another iconic women's basketball win, courtesy of reporter Salle VMAC.
And later, men's basketball has a sloppy first half against A10 UMass, but they managed to pull it together. We've got a bona fide Sportsline throwback package called the Explorer Unmasked, and we'll also sit down with Megan McGee, a representative for National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, on what they have in store for NEDA 2017.
But first, let's take a look at our Sportsline top 3. Ooh, top 3. Let's go to number 1. Do we even have to say it? Women's basketball scores yet another buzzer-beater win against George Mason. All-star and all-around champion Amy Griffin hit a jumper off a pass from Jasmine Alston. Jake, talk us through this.
Oh, take a look here. Is the audio even up? That's fine. Amy Griffin nails it. A beautiful pass. She's amped.
Absolutely beautiful. Explorers win over George Mason 59-57, and Amy Griffin snags LaSalle Explorer Athlete of the Week honors for that just beaut.
Oh, and then we go to number 2. And if you felt that there was something different about Coach G of men's basketball this week, it's because there was. Giannini joined coaches across the country in wearing sneakers on the court as part of Coaches vs. Cancer's Suit and Sneakers Week. And this organization aims to raise awareness on the American Cancer Society and the early detection measures ordinary people can take to keep themselves and their family healthy. On behalf of Sportsline, I think Coach G looked quite snappy in his gray suit and sneaks.
And for number 3, LaSalle class of 07 alum Sean Quigley was named one of 12 runners selected for the U.S. elite team in the Boston Marathon. Quigley will be running alongside Olympic medalists and world champions in one of the most esteemed and important marathons of the year. At LaSalle, Quigley set endless records and was pretty much king of the A10, and apparently never stopped running. He was chosen after placing 9th in the U.S. Olympic trials, and considering he's already LaSalle's Athletics Hall of Fame, is there another status he can claim? Jake, is he the new Tom Gola?
Anna, don't you ever dare compare anyone to Tom Gola except Kelsey Haycock.
Okay. We'll take it.
And well, you know what? We just showed you the buzzer beater with that headline number 1, but now Salle VMAC is going to take you inside how women's basketball made it to that dub against George Mason on Saturday, so take a look.
The women's basketball team took on the George Mason Patriots at home on Saturday, January 28th. LaSalle went into the game with a 3-game winning streak and needed a win to keep up with the leaders of the Atlantic 10. The Explorers started the game hot with a 14-5 run. But with Micaiah Owens in foul trouble for most of the game, Amy Griffin and Adriana Miller stepped into the lead roles, taking 50% of the Explorers' shots. Griffin had 17 points and 9 rebounds, while Miller had 10 points. The Explorers had a great game under the basket as well, with 19 offensive rebounds to keep the momentum going. Jasmine Alston led the team with 12 rebounds to go along with her 7 points. Ashanti Freeland played well for the Explorers coming off the bench. She had 2 blocks and 6 points. To begin the 4th quarter, the Explorers had a scare when Amy Griffin went down hard while driving to the hoop. With a little over 6 minutes left in the game, the Blue and Gold had a 12-point lead over the Patriots. However, the Patriots won on a 16-4 run, erasing LaSalle's lead. With 23.2 seconds remaining, George Mason's Cara Wright knocked down a jumper to tie the game at 57. The Explorers quickly moved the ball down the court and gave the ball to Amy Griffin, who hit a jumper with only 0.7 seconds remaining for the win. For Sportsline, I'm Selena VMAC.
Oof. And in hopes of kicking off February in style, the women's basketball squad looked to extend their winning streak to 5 games, and they managed to do just that with a 58-49 victory over Rhode Island. The Explorers got off to a strong start, leading URI 17-8 after the first quarter, and the Rams bounced back in the middle frames, however, and brought the game to within 2 points by the start of the fourth quarter. The Rams nearly secured the lead with less than 2 minutes to go, but freshman Sophia Olafong came up clutch for the blue and gold, pulling down several key rebounds and making major baskets to extend LaSalle's lead to 9 to close out the victory. Whew. Micaiah Owens led the Explorers with 18 points, while Amy Griffin notched a double-double with 10 rebounds and 12 points in the winning effort.
And on the other hand, our men's basketball team hit a low point for the third straight loss in a row against St. Joe's on Saturday, January 28th. This marks yet another horrifying Big Five buzzer beater loss. Temple, Penn, and now St. Joe's, at least not to Drexel. But early in the season, we won against Drexel early in the season. Despite 21 points from our boy JP and Amar Stukes playing his heart out with an additional 16 points, it was a mess of a loss against St. Joe's, especially Lamar Kimball, who nailed a jumper with 15 seconds to go. Jordan Price went up for the points, but it just did not convert. The Explorers lost 73-72.
And then things got considerably, maybe assuredly better when LaSalle took on the bottom of the A10 UMass on Wednesday, February 1st. So take a look, you bums. All right. And so anyway, this was going to be one of the most exciting matchups. Well, not really that exciting because it was UMass's 3-5, but this would be a major point for LaSalle to get upset. But the thing is, right off the bat in the first quarter, LaSalle looked like they were going to be struggling. Right here, you see JP coming out and just a sloppy play, and then St. Joe, or oh my gosh, UMass really started to hammer down in the first half, really starting to extend the lead. And right here you see BJ Johnson taking a nice little jumper. And right here we got Demetrius Henry, who had a bit of trouble, really just, I guess, controlling the ball. Start to kind of pull together there. And right here, Jordan Price, just modern beast of athleticism. And then right here you have Cleon, steals the ball with the help of BJ Johnson and goes up for a not too flashy bit of play right there. And there it is for the action shot. Yeah, we put the shaky cam on there. Yeah, and right here, BJ Johnson, he actually had 28 points on the night, which is quite possibly the reason why, we pulled this game together. And right there, you just see that athleticism, that snag in slow motion for you, because we're SportsLine and we don't skimp. And then right there, BJ Johnson with another beautiful three, and that brought us to an 88-78. And yeah, and so right now that brings us to being around like 6-3 and standing at 6 in the conference. But more important than that game, though, was the fact that assistant producer Steven Silvestro hit the court in the attempt to prove his loyalty to LaSalle TV and his school. So check it out. It's Mr. Iced Coffee making a run for it, and there is Hot Coffee really trying to go for it here, but he falls, and Iced Coffee maintains his composure. Yes, that is Steven Silvestro, and looks like right now he's falling behind there a little bit. I would have expected. But do you see though, right there, a cheap arm is thrown, knocking the ball away. But Steven does manage to pull together. But right here, you have the Hot Coffee going for behind the back half court shot, like he's trying to emulate like last month's big viral moment. No, it's not going to happen. Stop trying to be flashy. And right here, Steven Silvestro takes the very, very beautiful approach, but then takes a hit in the back. You know what? Iced Coffee gets beaten up all the time. Hot Coffee, hashtag boycott Hot Coffee. But you know what? Steven Silvestro right there gets the Dunkin' gift card, and right there, satisfactory job, Steve. You really nailed it there. We're proud of you.
Thanks, Jake. Good job, Steve. Men's tennis traveled to Annapolis, Maryland to take on Navy. The Explorers were riding high after a victory at Lafayette the previous weekend, but the boost of morale would not be enough as LaSalle would lose 6 out of 7 points on the day. Navy swept the blue and gold in all 3 rounds of doubles, and in singles, LaSalle fell in every match except for one. Senior Mark Robinson defeated Navy's Joseph Cook in the final singles match of the day. Robinson claimed the first set after a tiebreak and would win 7-6. In a close second set, Robinson ultimately defeated Cook by a score of 6-4, marking Robinson's second consecutive win after a victory at Lafayette. The loss would be the 3rd of the season for LaSalle. The Explorers' record now sits at 2-3.
And men's swimming and diving split in a trio of meets on the weekend. On Friday, the men's 200 relay team topped the scoreboard with a time of 1 minute and 35 seconds, thanks to Cameron Fadley, Jerry Gravel, Fabian Bergman, and Jakub Bartoszewicz. And Gravel also won the 250 free, and then senior Matthias Glenesk snagged first in the 1,000 free and 500 free, continuing his hot streak. And then on Saturday, the men hosted Rowan, handily defeating the Owls 124-76. And for the second day in a row, the 200 medley team earned first place ahead of Rowan. Alexander Nikolic topped the scoreboard in both the 100 and 200 free, and then placing first in the 500 free with an enormous win was LaSalle long distance hotshot, once again, Matthias Glinesk, who took the title with a time of 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And then in diving, the men competed at the Penn State Invitational. Blake Griffith competed in the 3 meter and finished 4th overall, the highest finish among all of the explorers.
They started out the weekend strong with a 127-55 win over Mount St. Mary. Yet again, Ava Osterhaus and Maddie Kolich placed first and second in the 500 free. The women followed that success with another convincing meet over Rowan, where Hannah Elliott had strong performances in the 200 and 500 meter freestyle. LaSalle represented in the 200 IM as Ava Osterhaus clocked in with first as teammates Colin Kessinger and Maddie Kolich rounded out the top 3. At the Penn State Invitational, diver Sydney Zoppo placed 6th in the finals, while Dominique DiOrienzo narrowly missed the cut, placing 10th in the prelims.
And then men's track had a jam-packed weekend of their own as they also traveled for their Penn State National Invite into Lehigh for the Convert Classic. At Lehigh, we saw an impressive turnout from sophomore Isaiah Akil, who placed first overall in the 500 meter in just over 1 minute. And then senior Ryan Magnus raced an impressive 3,000 meter event, coming in 5th place in under 9 minutes. And his teammate Daniel Kozakov finished not too far behind himself, earning himself 9th. At Penn State in the 400 meter, junior Justin Guerra ran in 49.86 seconds to earn 8th place out of a 19-man race in the triple jump. Sophomore Zaki Williams placed 8th overall, finishing out a busy weekend for the men's team.
Well, the women also had a pretty busy weekend as they also went to Lehigh, where freshman Shelby Francis had a breakout performance on the hurdles where she won the event in the smallest of margins. Sophomore Megan Kalia Miller topped the standings of this long jump with a leap of 5.6 meters. Freshman Jessica Bryant finished right behind her in second with a 5.5 meter jump. At Penn State, Ifeteo Tyler led the charge for the blue and gold with a first place finish in the 800 meter. The junior posted a career best in the event with a time of 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Sophomore Caitlin Poez also set a career record in the 5,000 meter, clocking in with a time of 17 minutes and 26 seconds for a 6th place finish on the day.
All right, well that was a loaded week of sports at LaSalle, but now we're taking a step back. So turn on your electric foot bath, slip into that satin robe, and get yourself into that SportsLine throwback groove. That's right, we're going back to 2015. At LaSalle University, the man behind the mask is a mystery. We take him for granted. We see him on the court, on school publicity, and around campus, yet we don't know his true identity. His image, iconic. His dance moves, legendary. He spends his time behind the scenes traveling with the blue and gold teams and in the back of the halls of the Heyman Center. He's the Explorer, and his name is Ian Hall.
First and foremost, I'm the LaSalle Explorer. Secondly, I'm just a little lowly sophomore, accounting and finance from the great Midwestern state of Missouri.
So obviously, my first question was, how does a kid from Missouri end up here at LaSalle with the interest to become the mascot for a school from over 1,000 miles away?
It was actually the opening weekend. You know how they have all the little freshmen out on all those activities? There's this cheerleading table telling us to come to all these sporting events and all the basketball games for the upcoming winter. And right then and there, I just looked at him and I was like, I would like to be the LaSalle Explorer, the mascot. She points me in the direction of my now boss, Michelle DeLong, and I go up to her and she says, all right, stop by my office Monday morning and I'll give you to the other mascot and he'll let you know how it goes.
A sort of spontaneous decision. Ian had no idea what exactly he was getting into, but the athletics department welcomed him and he had the mask on almost immediately.
My first event is the LaSalle Explorer, the Students Fair. I remember I was wearing my glasses that day, which is not a good idea. It's fogging up and I think I sweated about 10 pounds off that day.
Getting to run out on the Gola floor wouldn't prove to be as simple. Ian spent time working events like meet and greets, activities fairs, and even bar mitzvahs. However, the answer I wanted to know was, when did it finally click? When did he know he was the Explorer?
I think it was this year. That's when I got to start doing men's basketball games more. And it was the first time we played St. Joe's here at LaSalle. And I just remember it was coming together. It was a beautiful game. Everyone was going nuts, back and forth, and finally, towards about the last 2 or 3 minutes, it all just came together. We were winning, my dance moves were on point, the music was on point, everyone was cheering and screaming, and I think that was my favorite game so far in my career here.
So now that everything had clicked, there's a very important attribute to being a mascot. So I had to ask, what are the top 3 dance moves for the Explorer?
All right, Number 3, it's kind of just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like this. You just kind of get up, and I'm just going like one of these sort of things. Number 2, it's my favorite one to do to the cameras. I mean, typically when somebody puts a camera in your face, you're supposed to go, woo, 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 woo. But my favorite one is you take a step back, and you eye the camera, and then you just come close. Finally, my first and most favorite one is, I use it mainly when I'm making fun of the St. Joe's Hawk, just because my cape kind of looks like wings sometimes, and you guys know he's always flapping or whatever. My second one is just holding the cape out, and one of these, and just spinning around, and then just busting off into something else, you know? It's always a lot of fun.
It was then that I realized that it takes a different kind of breed to be the mascot. And as an honors program business co-op student who's also the music director for WEXP Radio on campus, I couldn't imagine the amount of time that mascotting takes away. So I wondered, what makes it worth it?
For me, I just like being, it feels nice to be the epitome of the LaSalle, of being a LaSalle explorer. Like, and just the fact that I've been relied on and it's been bestowed on me just to go nuts and have a great time and just get everyone pumped up as best as I can and just be an absolute goofball and just cheer on our team, win or lose.
It became very clear that mascotting is something very close to Ian's heart. Now, as he's preparing to retire after this next season due to internships, he does have a surprise in store.
But I guess if I actually had a legacy, I do have one. And my younger brother, he's going to be a LaSalle Explorer next year. And he actually already asked if he could take over for me. Because next year's going to kind of be my last year. And so it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny to keep it in the family with my younger brother coming up and being the new Explorer. So I guess that's my real legacy.
As the man in the mask changes hands from brother to brother, we know that the new mascot will have some solid moves to work off of. So I guess mascotting runs in the family. So go Explorers. This is Jake Smolinski reporting for LaSalle TV. Oh, man, I don't even know what I just said there. But anyway, there are 3 Hall siblings currently at LaSalle. And you know what? Ian, the guy who's the feature of that, he's graduating this year. I'm also not going to name any of the other Hall siblings because we don't want their anonymity and the magic of the Explorer to be ruined. But what are the odds that the lineage of the quality Hall Explorers just never stops?
How do they have younger brothers?
Yes, there's 2 more younger brothers.
Ooh. Ooh, you know what?
There's potential there.
There's a very real possibility there. I'm really excited to see if the Hall dynasty keeps up. I'd like to see the cape flowing keep going.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyway, Jake, we just talked about the Explorer, but is there no one more spirited person than the Explorer?
Yes, we should probably keep on moving into the script. And,
we should keep going. Well, I have something that can top the Explorer in Moose School spirit. Every year, the National Eating Disorder Awareness Week Committee, or NEDA, joins together multiple student organizations for a week of events centered around raising awareness about eating disorders on college campuses. College athletes are particularly at risk for living with unhealthy behaviors like eating disorders, and LaSalle's National Eating Disorder Awareness Week starts February 27th, but we wanted to get the scoop on how the committee is preparing for this tradition at LaSalle. Joining us on desk is a member of the NEDA Student Committee, Megan McGee. Hi, Megan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so just right from the start, it's an annual event here at LaSalle. Can you tell us just how important it is to have those kind of discussions here?
Sure, definitely. So NEDA Week, it's a tradition here at LaSalle. It's a tradition among other colleges across the United States. It's a really important week just to promote and understand the really effective eating disorders. 20% of college students have or previously have had an eating disorder, and I think that's a huge number across college campuses, and I think it's really important for this week to emphasize the need for people to understand what eating disorders are and how they affect people our age and people older as well and younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's that stat you just said, 20% of people on college campuses have exhibited behaviors. I mean, that's an incredible stat. Do you think that college campuses kind of encourage those unhealthy behaviors?
I personally, I don't think colleges are promoting it, but I think definitely the things that we see like in the media, I think that's increasing. I think it's primarily affecting young girls, but it affects men as well, and a lot of people don't know that. Media plays a big role. Athletes needing to look a certain size or be at a certain weight limit. So a lot of factors are involved with that, and unfortunately, it's growing day by day. But this week really helps to put the word out there and get people talking about it.
Yeah, and I mean, NEDA for LaSalle doesn't start until February 27th, but can you kind of clue us in on what the student committee has planned for this year?
Sure, so actually it's starting a little bit earlier this year. It's February 21st to
Okay.
March 1st. We decided to make it a little bit earlier this year. Some of the events, I have them all written down, but our theme this year is called You Are Enough, and the activities start on Tuesday. So we have 7 o'clock, then we have the basketball game. February 23rd, it's on a Thursday, 5 o'clock, the Evensong and the Candlelight Vigil. February 27th, it's a Monday, 5 o'clock, Zumba for everybody. February 28th, Tuesday, it's a 12:30 keynote program. The topic is to be decided. And then we also have a panel that night at 7. And March 1st, it's a Wednesday, 1 o'clock is the mindfulness meditation with KWG. And then March 1st on a Thursday, it's still to be decided, but we're looking to have yoga. So it's going to be a fun-filled, packed week from the previous week into the next week, and hopefully we have a good turnout.
Yeah, seriously, no, it's so many great events that because it's something that it doesn't get talked about normally.
Yeah.
And especially when, especially at LaSalle with as many D1 teams that we have, and people are being held to such a high standard.
Yes.
It's great that you guys are taking like some of these events and encouraging it not only for athletes but just for everyone. You know.
Yeah, it's great.
Now, can you just kind of clue us in, because you talked about all of these events that students can get involved in. How do students get involved with NEDA throughout the year?
Sure, so we have a committee that meets every Monday at 5 p.m. and people are welcome to join it as well. We've been meeting since December, and we decide on a theme, we decided the activities that we're going to be doing during the week, how we're going to promote the week, how we're going to get the word out. We also have other things that go into it as well. So during the week, we fundraise as much money as possible to go to ANAD, which is anorexia nervosa and associated disorders. And all the money, last year we made around $4,000, $1,000 from table sales in B&G, as well as $3,000 for the volleyball tournament. Wow. So we're hoping to make more money this year that we can donate back to them and give back to the community and understand eating disorders as a whole.
So this really isn't just 1 week. This is a year long.
It's definitely a year-long thing, and we have a lot of organizations getting involved with the week, being on the committee. So it's a lot of different people coming together and really taking a stand against eating disorders as a whole.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm really excited for this. Now that we know NEDA goes on all year. I mean, that's incredible.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Megan.
No problem.
Well, we here at SportsLine will be following the updates on NEDA all throughout the year now. So stick with us all throughout February and March for more important information about the initiative. When we come back, we'll be talking the big games coming up for the first week of February, so stick around. Nice. Thank you so much.
Stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you, be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at worldvision.org.
Well, there is plenty of LaSalle sports action this upcoming week, so let us welcome Sports Talk Philly pundit Josh Abrams for this week's Explorer Report.
Thanks, Anna. For this week's Explorer Report, our LaSalle men's Explorers basketball team travels to A-10 rival George Mason this Saturday, February 4th at 7 p.m. George Mason currently holds a record of 14-8 after dropping their most recent contest to St. Louis, while LaSalle, our Explorers, currently hold a record of 12-8 after winning their most recent contest against UMass. This is bound to be a very tough matchup for our Explorers, as George Mason boasts one of the best players in the nation in Marquise Moore. Other players to watch out for include Otis Livingston II, Jalen Jenkins, and Jair Grayer. The Explorers have been in a bit of a slump recently, and in order to get out of that slump and beat George Mason, they will need to play solid perimeter defense and limit the Patriots' three-point opportunities. The key to this game, however, will be for Demetrius Henry and Tony Washington to perform well on the glass. GMU starters and core players aren't very tall, so if Henry and Washington can play great defense in the paint and also contest every shot inside, this could be a huge win for our Explorers.
Dang. So I guess taking a look at, especially after this win that we just had against UMass, what do you think that says about the team's headspace right now?
Well, right now they're in a good spot. But as we get towards the end of the season, every game counts.
Yeah.
And every win is going to be big because you want to get as high of a seed as you can in the conference tournament. And in order to do that, you just got to keep reeling off wins. And I think they can do it.
And then who do you think is going to be the biggest player, just like best player for us? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Josh, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. So thanks, Josh. And without further ado, let's unravel with my picks of the week. Picks of the week. Yep. Pick number one, swimming and diving versus Villanova on Saturday, February 4th. I'm talking a win, win, win. That's right. We're unstoppable. We're more terrifying than a rolling tide sweeping away your brand new puppy out on Cape Cod's Lighthouse tour with your family over Easter break. And I don't care if you're Villanova. I don't care if you throw Chris Jenkins in the pool. The Explorers are red hot and they're hungry. And I'm talking Campbell's Chunky Chicken Noodle Soup hungry. And they're going to feast on the Wildcats just like we stumbled across the crazy cat lady's house in the middle of a moderately large snowstorm when your neighborhood Wegmans isn't open. I'm looking at you, Fabian Bergman. Prove us right. Or prove me right. I've been right for a while. So anyway, yeah, it goes me to pick number two. And that is women's basketball versus George Washington on Tuesday, February 7th. Win? We're hot streaking right now. We're caught in 5 consecutive wins. I swear, if George Washington takes us down, I'm going to devote myself to a life of hermitude and retreat to the hills because I don't know if the stars are ever going to align with the triple threat of Griffin, Alston, and Miller ever again. And George Washington, they were sitting pretty high on their horse in second place last week. Now they're in third. Who's in fourth? Us. Who likes upsets? Everybody. So anyway, I'm talking women's LaSalle basketball team against whoever I just said. Anyway, pick number 3, tennis versus Bucknell. Maybe a singular match win. I want to see the same passion that I see in Fabian Bergman's eyes. I want to see the same passion I see in Amy Griffin's eyes, in BJ's eyes, in my eyes. I want this team to transcend. I can't actually see anymore. I want to see this team transcend their limitations and partly demolish tennis courts and rain fury upon the hapless Bucknell Pirates, whatever their mascot is. I want Brian Balico to serve a ball through a Bucknell player's chest. And please, just stop me.
I'm going to take you out of your misery now. Let's hope for a good win against tennis. We're just going to move on. That just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the marquee matchup, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage and keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com or check out this week's edition of The Collegian.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there, so...
Just check it out. And for Selena, Josh, and our SportsLine team, I'm Anna Gomez.
And I'm Jake Swinsky. Thanks for joining, and we will see you at the game.